And we are live. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and let's talk about what we are watching this week. So this week is following the FOMC rate cut. The market pulled on back slightly. We got Tesla pulling on back to 420 per share, but it's currently up during overnight hours. I'm going to be talking about two stocks that I'm really paying attention to this week that I plan to trade. And then the remaining three stocks, I'm going to let you guys decide, and I'm just going to break them down and give my 2 cents within this live stream. I want to remind you that every stock that I break down within this live stream is simply my opinion. Again, my opinion is formed based off of my trading experience. It's not something that has to continue to happen. We're all entitled to our own opinion. So if you feel strongly about a specific stock and it's different than how, I interpret it, that's fine, right? The whole point is to put money where your mouth is, and if you see value in something, I don't need to see eye to eye with you, right? There's so many different ways on how to make money in this market. All you ever want to do is to be intentional. Take care of, your form of risk management, and make sure that every opportunity that you take advantage of, profit potential outweighs the risk potential. At least that's the more common approach. So I really hope that you learned something new. If you ever want to tune on into these live streams, they're free. They're hosted on my YouTube channel, and just another reason to subscribe. And I hope that I earned your thumbs up. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Happy holidays. So I'm going to say what's up to some of the people that are tuning on in for the first time, or just tuning on in live. So I see that we have Huish. We got Carlos Vasquez. What's going on, brother? We got Kevin, Vita, Nicholas. What's going on, brother? I hope that you have an amazing Christmas. So Bernard, Rush, Kyle, Bronx Kid. What's up? What's up? Ilian, what's going on, brother? Bernard, Carlos, Justin, Rush Hour TV, Alfred, Justin, Bronx Kid, Blazed C, 27. What's up? What's up? We got Doomad, 1977, Greg, Kantav, is that how I pronounce it? Lamba Z Entertainment. What's going on? Steven, Swifty, Lavina, Lou, Hoger, Romero. What's up, brother? Joss, Swinder. What's up? What's up? Afghan Music for All. Just Swinder, Plant Nice. All right. What's going on, Ricardo? What's going on, Lael? What's going on, Lamaris? I hope and wish you guys I hope that you guys are all having a good weekend. It feels kind of odd, right? At least for me, I have family visiting because tomorrow we're going to be going to my cabin for the holidays. I still plan to go live tomorrow, so if you ever want to tune on into my live trading session, they're private, they're exclusive to my LPP team, and it's the second link in the description down below. It's just $1 a day is what it breaks down to. So if you want to take advantage of that Christmas sale, it's almost over. And again, there's never going to be a better time to sign up. Second link in the description down below. If you sign up tonight, you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. So, but then it's Christmas. I think it's Christmas on Wednesday, right? I know the stock market is closed in observance to Christmas. That's going to be Wednesday for all my Hispanic people out there. Believe it or not, right? For myself as well. I'm sure a lot of you guys know. We celebrate Christmas like on the 24th. I don't know if it's because so many Hispanics are so impatient. They don't want to wait till the 25th. But market's open at least on the 24th. So we'll be going live Monday. We'll be going live Tuesday for our live trading sessions. Wednesday, market will be closed in observance to Christmas. And then we got Thursday and Friday. So let's go ahead and go right into it. So Ricky, can you make a monthly membership that students that students can budget friendly? LPP is a one-time payment. So it breaks down to $1 per day. And I've been very upfront with you guys. If you cannot afford LPP because, again, you're a student, whatever the case might be, ultimately, then maybe you shouldn't be signing up for anything, right? Because I try to make it as affordable. I mean, it's the lowest. If you think about what you get access to the A to Z video lesson library, which is over 8 hours. You get access to my daily live trading sessions. That's every single day. I'm going live with you for at least an hour a day of my time, and you get to watch me trade live. And for those that have signed up since 2018, they've been here every day from that point moving forward. And if that's not worth it for you, then maybe, again, you just don't like my trading style, whatever case might be. You don't have to join my group. Maybe there is a more affordable group chat that you can join. I don't do signals. I don't sell signals. I don't do call outs or anything like that. I just trade live every morning. And for me and our team, it's very valuable for them. And it's not even a question based off of what they get versus what they pay. But again, if it's just not something that you could afford, I get that. Then again, I just can't make it any cheaper in the sense of what I'm already offering for that price. It's, I would say, the biggest bang for your buck. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first one that I obviously want to talk about is, believe it or not, MSTR. MSTR went from highs of $370 per share after market hours on Friday to, if you look at extended hours right now or overnight hours, it is down 2.25% from the close price. So we're down even more from aftermarket hours because I think it was up like 1.7%. So it lost all of that. And then now it's down 2.1% from where we closed at. So it's currently trading at 356. And the main reason why is Bitcoin is bearish right now. Bitcoin traded lows of 93,600. And remember, MicroStrategy, all it does is it buys Bitcoin. And it buys Bitcoin at extremely overbought levels. That's why so many investors in MicroStrategy were getting upset with Michael Saylor of possibly being too aggressive at these all-time highs. And we'll see if it ends up paying off, or we'll see if he ends up paying the price, right? If Bitcoin, I'm just saying this, and I've said it many times before, so I don't want it to be overlooked. $90,000 is the support for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks below 90,000 and begins to retrace back down to 70 to 50,000, that sell-off is like 20%, 30% for Bitcoin. I would reassure you that MicroStrategy will probably sell off 50% from where it's at right now. I think MicroStrategy is currently trading at $350 per share. So if Bitcoin begins to crash, I hope that you are ready to see one of the biggest drops we've ever seen with MicroStrategy. But that's a big if. That's if Bitcoin drops, right? On the day chart, there is no break of pattern. It's still showing signs of a support. So I don't like to get ahead of myself. I can still day trade it and still short it every day and close out my position. I don't have to close out that short. But if I do see that price action is bearish, I'm really excited. MicroStrategy is the number one stock that I'm paying attention to this week. And it's not just for shorting it. Let me make that very clear. If Bitcoin breaks below 90,000, then yes, I will short the living life out of MicroStrategy. I'll short it with $500,000, and I'm super excited to do so. That's if Bitcoin breaks below 90,000, but that's a big if because we have not done that yet. So again, you can't be naive to think that it has to happen. If Bitcoin finds its support here and then begins to recover, we have to understand that then MicroStrategy could find its support and then begin to recover. There's a lot of day trade opportunity there. So if I could buy into the dip and then ride it if it begins to skyrocket as Bitcoin begins to recover, then I would be more than happy to make money that way as well. All I'm saying is, of course, I want to short it, but I'm not going to be naive to think that the only way that it can go is down. So I'm open-minded to both opportunities. But of course, as market sentiment for Bitcoin begins to slow down, as things begin to look a little bit more bearish, then my sentiment is, okay, I want to respect the trend. I'm going to, at least for now, focus on a short. If direction begins to change and we see the price action for Bitcoin to be bullish, MicroStrategy will most likely be bullish, and that's where I will have to accept that and then possibly go long on MicroStrategy. Even when I choose to go long, I would only focus on day trading it, not holding that position overnight. I think MicroStrategy is incredibly overpriced, incredibly overhyped up, and again, extremely risky, and I would not recommend it for any beginner. Shorting it or going long, no beginner should be touching MicroStrategy, in my opinion, okay? So that's the first one that I'm paying attention to. The second one that I think is going to be a very lucrative play this week is Tesla. Tesla had a significant time last week where it went from all-time highs of $4.88 per share all the way to lows of $4.10 per share. It lost nearly 16% of its value in like 2 days. That's very huge. Tesla is no longer a billion-dollar company. It sits at a market cap of 1.3 trillion. So again, although I think Tesla is overbought because of how much it's gapped up, it could find its support here and it could begin to recover. That is money to be made. So again, instead of having a super strong opinion on no, Tesla has to crash. Trust me, I want Tesla to crash, but also I'm here to make money, just like all of you guys. So if price action begins to support the case that Tesla is going to begin to recover, there's 13% of potential recovery. I want a piece of that. Even if I capture 5 or 6% of that, I would be happy. But again, we have to be open-minded to both sides. And as of right now, including the overnight hours, Tesla is up 1.83%. Now, if Tesla begins to show more signs of selling pressure, if it breaks below 410 and then begins to head below 400, then I would be happy to short Tesla day by day. Is Tesla an incredibly safe stock to be shorting? No, because again, it's been incredibly bullish. Shorting itself is not designed for beginners, especially when a stock has shown this kind of volatility. Again, I like to talk about my trades, but I like to remind people that you need to learn how to walk before you run. And just because you're getting started and you might understand what you're doing doesn't mean that you have to get involved in super risky trades. And I hope that you see that. So those are my two focuses this week. I really feel like I will make most of my money just trading those two stocks because there's huge recovery potential and there's huge sell-off potential. And we all know that it's probably going to do one or the other. So all we have to wait to do is wait for the market to tell us where it's going to go. And that's when you wait for confirmation, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit more within the live trading sessions tomorrow at Market Open. And again, second link in the description down below to tune on in. So let's go ahead and start breaking down your favorite top two stocks. If you want me to break down your stock, all I literally ask you to do is drop a thumbs up, share it in the live chat, and I would be more than happy to break it down for you. So, all right, we already have, Mustafa asking for me to break down AMD. I also see that it was JF asking for AMD. So let me ask you this. For those that are asking for me to break down AMD, are you asking that it looks like a potential dip buy opportunity? So are you trying to go long on it, or are you trying to short it as it sells off? What's your opinion on it? I want to get an understanding of what you think. Dip buy, go long. Okay, so I see both of you are saying, Judith is saying short it, long maybe. Okay, so it seems like some people are indecisive. Some people are saying buy the dip. Mufasa is saying buy the dip, and I'm sorry, not Mufasa. Mustafa is saying buy the dip. My only issue with this is, again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I can see why you're paying attention to it to potentially buy it because of previous lows and how it's recovered before. My only concern is on the week chart. Again, this is a previous support level. It tends to bounce here. There is no indication of a support yet. So you buying here is based off of the sole hope that it just all of a sudden is going to begin to recover. I want to remind you that it was cheap at 138. It's even cheaper now at 120. So the cheap can always get cheaper. And again, this is just the way that I like to preach it to beginners. I'm not big on encouraging anybody to buy something before confirmation, especially when you're just getting started. I don't think it instills healthy habits, because when you're just getting started, you almost want to limit yourself and reduce your exposure to risk with the trades you take, right? Because the lack of experience of maybe how to manage risk or take profits. That being said, I like that you're paying attention to AMD because it is a good quality company. And if you look at their financials, it's not terrible. So we can pull up AMD here very quickly. And if we pull up AMD, their past year performance has not been the best. Their PE ratio is fair. When it talks about upside potential, I mean, it's there. But it's just not been having the best year. So I think this has a lot to do with tolerance. If you cannot tolerate the time it might take for this thing to recover, I don't think buying early would make any sense. If you can tolerate it and you know that things can get worse before they get better and you can manage and mitigate risk, then maybe, again, this could be something that I can see myself buying at that point. But as of right now, let's make it very clear. There is no indication of a recovery. When I look at this, and I talk about like, okay, well, what's the indication, right? You might be asking, well, Ricky, what does indication of a recovery might look like? It would be a break of pattern of this descending pattern. And you can see the moving average has been acting as a resistance. It's been forming lower highs and lower lows. There's been no indication of this thing breaking above the moving average and confirming a reversal. So with that being said, there is no break of pattern as this thing is recovering. It is continuing to sell off. And because that selling pressure is continuing, I see there to be no reason to try to buy the dip early, hoping for something to happen that still hasn't presented itself. If this thing was beginning to recover, it broke above the moving average and began to actually indicate signs of recovery, healthy recovery, not just a quick pop up and then it pops right back down. When I mean indication of a recovery, you would have to look back to history when it breaks above the moving average and forms higher highs and higher lows. It pulls back, validates the moving average now as a support, no longer as a resistance, and continues that uptrend. This is what I mean. Indication of an uptrend. We do not have that right now. It's been selling off, and again, pressure has been incredibly bearish. So again, I would say, in my opinion, AMD is more of a watch and not as much as a buy, because I would see it to be too early. You let me know what you think on that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. SMCI, Ilian. SMCI. So let's go ahead and pop this one up real quick. On the 4-hour time frame, a nice little retracement. So what are you looking at SMCI for? Is this to go long? Is this to short? What do you think? Or what's your perspective on it? So you guys know probably my stance on SMCI. It was given an extension to meet NASDAQ requirements, and I think that's going to be up until February or something like that. It's been forming lower highs, lower lows. I see it to be incredibly bearish, but it is showing signs of a slight support here right around 29 to 30 bucks. So I could see it find its support here, and if it breaks above this EMA and this moving average, I could see price action begin to follow on the upside. You have to be wary of that because it has sold off a ton that it could begin to consolidate here, which is its previous consolidation range, and it could begin to show signs of a reversal, especially if it does begin to report earnings and simply do what it was supposed to be doing, right? Because there's a lot of negative news. That's what I want you to understand. Understand the negative catalyst that caused it to sell off. If those negative catalysts begin to get fixed, then SMCI should naturally begin to recover. So let's just make sure that we remember that. As of right now, I would set my alert for the break below 29 bucks, and I would set my other alert for the break above the EMA and the moving average right around 34 bucks. That can give me a better indication, again, if price action is beginning to recover or if price action breaks support and continues to sell off. I think a lot of this will be dictated based off of how the market trades. If NASDAQ market begins to recover, SMCI will most likely run off that sentiment. If NASDAQ market continues to sell off, then fear will be injected into the market and SMCI will also continue to sell off. That is my short-term perspective on SMCI. I think the larger play, I've seen people talk about it, where they are looking into buying into SMCI during all of this bad news because they view it as a dip buy opportunity while all this fear is being instilled, and they hope that it begins to meet NASDAQ requirements, which could cause a huge uptick. But that's a huge if. That's kind of like a Hail Mary of you're hoping for this thing to happen. It's done it in the past before. We'll see if it does it again. It's too high risk for me, but I can see the intention behind it. So again, it all comes down to your risk tolerance. If you don't want to expose yourself to that kind of risk, then don't open yourself to trades that, again, are just too risky to be taken right now. So let's go ahead and do two more stocks. We'll break down, right? Was this the fourth one? I did a third one, which was AMD. Let's do two more. That's fine. We'll do two more. So again, if it's okay with you guys, drop a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We have a few hundred of you guys here, so if it's not too much to ask, make sure you smash that like button, be subscribed to the channel, and let's break down your stock. So what are we breaking down next? All right. I have a few, I see a few of you guys talking about, is this it? I might do a few more. So explain to me the hype behind this, because if you know anything about me, you know that I'm not going to be a big supporter of stocks like this that skyrocket from $3 per share all the way up to $24. I think that these pump and dumps are short-lived. So what's the hype behind this? So I see that it's SoundHound AI. So I can look it up over here. Okay. Yeah, it seems like it's running off of the AI hype. Yeah. And again, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. This is, in my opinion, a pump and dump. It's a short-lived positive catalyst. It's a great way that if you got in early, you're going to make a ton of money as long as you take profits. But as soon as it begins to peak, trade sideways, or indicate signs of a resistance, I would get the heck out of there. I see there to be huge pullback potential, especially with that downtick. People don't even pay that much attention to it. But again, that sell-off retracement to the EMA, what is that? Let me go ahead and move this very quickly. That retracement was 27%, and it did that all in one day. Incredibly risky stock. I can see why you're paying attention to it, because it's probably being passed around in every Discord and every Reddit platform out there, because again, it's just being hyped up. I would be very careful with it. Again, if you know how to trade momentum plays, you know how to take profits, you know how to manage risk, I see why you're paying attention to it. If this is your first time trading, you're just trying to get lucky, please, I would just stay away. I wouldn't even short it. I wouldn't go long on it. It's just, you need to learn how to walk before you run. And this is sprinting. You could see the volume all of a sudden began to pick up. Volume was incredibly low before. This meets all of the criteria of a pump and dump. It has all the red flags. I would completely stay away from stocks like this. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, BA. All right, Bank of America on the day chart. So it looks like we hit lows of Bank of America from 140, was incredibly oversold based off of previous patterns. Bank of America has been struggling. It's not going to be, I'm sorry, BA is Boeing. My apologies, not Bank of America. Boeing has been going through one of its trading ruts because of all the issues, the conspiracy theories of, just all the problems that Boeing has been called out for. From the highs that it had in 2019, from the pandemic crash that it experienced, it has not been able to recover by any means. The highs that it made was 274. The lows that it made was lows of 100. And on the day chart, it finally looks like it's beginning to indicate signs of an uptrend. I would love to see if it actually holds here. So if it comes back down for a retest right around 170, I would like to see if it holds, and if it begins to recover again, then maybe it could be early signs of a potential reversal, just like we saw down here, where it went from selling off to breaking above, it pulled back to test, and it continued to rally. I love that, right? Because it indicated signs of higher highs, higher lows, price action. You don't need to pay attention to any indicators. It's all about what the charts are actually telling you, where the demand is at. So I would like to see if it does retest. If so, then again, I could see why people would want to go long on something like this. So I would definitely say that Boeing would be a stock worth watching. I just would hate the idea of buying in early, thinking that it has to recover, and then it just gets rejected and sells right back off to 130 per share. Again, I love talking about both sides. So it's always good to be aware of that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, QQQ. Let's do it because, again, market is incredibly overbought. I know that we experienced a pretty solid retracement last week, and I'm sure a lot of people are kind of asking the question of where do we see the market going? So again, like I said in the beginning of this video, this is 100% just my opinion. You guys know that I'm pretty biased. I want the market to pull on back. I think the market is overbought, but don't get me wrong. Is there a break of pattern yet? The answer is no. I can have my bias, but I can still see charts clearly. So there is no break of pattern. NASDAQ is still bullish on the larger time frame. So on this 4-hour time frame, we're still ascending. It's still forming higher lows and higher highs. As of right now, if it does break below the moving average and then continues to sell off and shows progress on the downside, then that could paint a different picture. Maybe that could be a break below that EMA on the day chart and a retracement down to the moving average on the day chart, which is 470. I would love that. But again, just because I might want something to happen or you might want something to happen means goose egg in this market. It means absolutely nothing. As of right now, in my opinion, because market has been more bullish than bearish, which means markets have been going up more than they've been selling off, I would have to say that even though I am bearish on the market, to be conservative, you would almost have to assume that the market is going to recover because that's all it's ever done. It retraces down here, right? Pulls back to the moving average and recovers. It retraces back here down to the moving average and it recovers. Remember, you having your own personal beliefs are fine, just like I do, but you never want to trade against the market, right? At least you want to be self-aware enough to pay attention to it. So when you see that pullback, when you see that consolidation is not a break of pattern. Even after the significant week that we had last week, yes, it was a trigger. It was a pullback, but it's not a correction, not yet. So I would say that right now, I would be paying attention to NASDAQ, and if it begins to trade below 525, 530, then it could easily go back and try to make new highs. If we go back down and retest to lows of 510, then be ready, right? I would look at it on the day chart and then begin to ask yourself, hey, are we seeing a break of pattern here and a potential retracement down to the moving average? Or is this just a pullback to the EMA and we're going to recover to continue to make new highs? We always have to talk about both sides. And that's one thing that you will often hear me preach. I sound like a broken record. And if you're super biased on one side, you will often not like my videos because I will always talk about both sides. It's the reason that I love making videos about MicroStrategy. And it's because it's so easy to piss off the people that are holding a stock that they are down 20 to 30% on, right? Because all they're hoping for based off of their feelings is that MicroStrategy has to recover. And when you paint the picture to them of what is looking to be their reality of the downside risk, they don't want to accept it. And it's not because they think I'm wrong. It's because they know it's a possibility, but they refuse to accept this possible truth. There's two sides to every opportunity. You could always talk about the upside, but it is naive to not be aware of the downside. Please make sure that if you're truly trying to get into trading or investing, that you are not always just convinced and sold on the idea of how much money you can make, but you always need to take into consideration on how much money you can lose. There's a very simple saying in this market. You don't make money by, or you define your success in the market not by how much money you make, but how much money you keep. Loss is inevitable in this market. Your job is not to avoid risk. Your job is simply to manage it. And every good trader and investor knows that. There's no such thing as a perfect trader. Loss will always be a part of this game. It's just to mitigate and manage that loss that really can set you apart. And again, I really hope that you can take those simple words and hopefully implement a series of good habits within your trading that can ultimately end up leading to your success. So I appreciate your time. I hope that earned your thumbs up. I wish you guys all a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas. For all those that are not part of our LPP team, I'll see you next Sunday. But for those that are part of our LPP team, I'll see you tomorrow at Market Open for our live trading session. I hope to see you there. And if you're not yet, it's the second link in the description down below. You can join for our biggest sell that's going to be ending in a few days. You can join for $1 a day is what it breaks down to. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. You get access to the A to Z video lesson library, and you also get access to our daily live trading sessions. So second link in the description down below. You can sign up tonight and watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. If not, happy holidays. I'll see you next Sunday. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.